Welcome to the Some Laugh podcast.
It could be like, oh, that was some laugh, or there was just some laughs.
Some laughs.
Well, no promising all laugh.
No, there's going to be some.
It's some laugh. I've had the cold like the last few days, but it's just
Something going about.
It's something going
Something
about.
going round.
Something going round.
But there's that sod's law thing, right? Because honestly, like, I had the pure busiest week ever. Like, I put in too many gigs, basically, including a trip to London. So I basically didn't have a day off for like 10 days. I was up, like, and I ended up up till like 7 in the morning twice. Not even for fun reasons. It was once I was coming back in the Caledonian Sleeper. Didn't get a sleep.
Nightmare.
How was that? I've never been on it.
Do you know what the annoying thing about it is? Like, so you're on it for about 8.5 hours or something. It doesn't actually take that long to get back to London on a train for Glasgow. So it goes like a lot slower, and then randomly, see, because the idea is like, right, you'll get a good night's sleep, and by the time you wake up,
Go to work or
you can go to work, it's the morning, whatever.
But that's the whole thing, 8.5 hours.
Yeah.
So you've got 50 minutes to drop off and then 50 minutes to wake up and then
Yeah.
a solid 8 hours.
Yeah.
But
That's unrealistic.
I was on,
never happened.
I was
Never
on
happened.
just like, they also just have normal train seats, which are obviously a lot cheaper. So I was just on one of them.
I've been on them.
We're paying fucking, over the
£100
odds.
for a...
It was 220 or something, and actually I think they
fuck
were all
me?
sold out. So it's like 70 quid for a fucking seat. So I'm like, fucking who cares? Just get me up the road. So I went on it. But the annoying thing is then, so I was just up, and I was still on my phone and stuff. It wasn't too bad. It's a wee charger. I'm like, what more do you want? And then, but the problem was I was getting so annoyed because you get to Carlisle, right? And it's about, I don't know, it's about 3 in the morning or something, right? And I'm like, it takes like an hour on the train to get back to Glasgow for Carlisle. I was like, there's no possible way that this is getting in at like 20 past
Going
7.
via Elgin,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
But they stop at fucking Carstairs and Motherwell or something, right? And I'm like, even then, that's 2 stars,
Yeah.
and they split the train at Carstairs or something. But what actually happened was they'd wait there for ages and then see in between Motherwell and Glasgow, right? So, like, literally, you couldn't get any closer. It just stopped randomly in the middle of the tracks for like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And, like, they purposely don't get
There's all
there
the
on time.
non-tight arses that have got a bed are having a lovely sleep at that point.
Aye.
But what they should do...
Don't I wake them up too
Yeah.
early? Do you know what I mean? That's what it is.
They-
Whereas I'm sitting there going, can I fucking get off this and go to my bed? I actually considered just getting off
Chum off and
getting like
Midland
a
Motherwell.
taxi to Motherwell or something, because honestly...
I would have done that. Like, what they should do is they should just do it at a normal pace. You get into Glasgow at like 4 in the morning, and then you can just let them sleep there for 4 hours
I
if
know.
they want to.
I know.
Yeah.
And you've got the choice to leave the train.
Because it's not even like they need to like leave the tracks clear for other... There's fucking there trains at that time. So they could just easily get you home. So that was the thing. It was just... The frustrating thing was just the unnecessary, like, wait.
Aye.
But that's what you sign up for. It's not as if it came in late. It just like takes far too long to get there for some reason.
Aye, I done that as well. I got and I warned you about that. I said get a cabin, don't get a seat.
But I know, but come on,
I
I'm
know.
not made of money,
I
Stevie.
know, I know. It's if you had that money, you'd just get a hotel, wouldn't you? So
Yeah, well that was the thing. It was either stay in London for another night that'd cost a fortune and then get a train back the next day. But then the train strikes were on the Monday, so I was like, and I
Get
just couldn't be
yourself
arsed hanging about because I was
Yeah.
only there for one night. So I thought, let's just get back up the road. But anyway, so I had all that. I had another couple of gigs, and then I finished all the gigs, and like for the Thursday, I had the weekend off, and then I just was, as soon as I woke up on Thursday, I'm like, I'm not well,
yeah.
and I was like, fuck. But it's like,
See if you got a proper sleep in a cabin, maybe you'd have been alright.
honestly, I think
Right as rain.
that is part of it. Like, I think I did just run myself into the ground a wee bit. I was also
Uh-huh.
up to fucking 6 in the morning editing this
Were
because
you?
we doing it on Tuesday to
Oh, aye.
watch that show. So,
That's right. Great show.
but I so run myself in the ground. But I also
No
just
need
think
to
it's
say what it
weird.
was.
The Death of Anna Man.
It was
Brilliant.
actually
Very
Colin
good.
Holt, very good.
Did you not see it whilst at the Fringe? You seen it twice?
No, I remember you went to see it and I just stayed and watched the Man U Liverpool game.
Oh, right enough. Yeah, that was that too.
I
Well, this time
fucking-
I watched the Scotland game instead of it, so it's all come from
Yeah, well, if I'd actually went that night, I probably wouldn't have ended up fucking myself over because I'd have got a good sleep that night, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it doesn't
cold of
matter.
Mark
None of this is relevant by the by. But I just think it's weird how, like, it is almost like your body knows
about it.
when you've got, it's like, remember after like a big exam or something in school, and then all of a sudden, I can't wait after this exam, and then it's like your body's sort of weighted, like you get through that, and then
Yeah.
as soon as it's done.
The
Right, that's you.
adrenaline's carrying you through or whatever for these 5
That was the
days.
fringe for me. Like my body shut down right after the fringe.
Aye.
Just
Yeah.
fucked.
That's why, like, a couple of years ago when I done the full run, when I had my day off, I think my body thought it was over, and I got fucked on my day off.
Thick as pig shit, your body.
And I was fucked for like the final week and a half or whatever because my body tricked me.
But I wonder if there's any scientific basis behind that, because it seems so like pseudo scientific.
Seems like bullshit, doesn't it?
But it's so
It keeps happening, though.
common
Yeah.
that like there must be something to it.
I think there is something to it. I think it's just that thing that like adrenaline just carrying you through and stuff. Like I
Aye.
don't know if there's. I don't think it's your brain going, "Oh, now we can get ill" or whatever.
I think the adrenaline or whatever just overwrites it.
Yeah.
Overwrites it.
But it's so annoying though, because
Dr.
it's like,
Showbiz.
I know.
Is that what it's called?
well, it's good that I'm glad that I've not managed to lose any weight. I was maybe off this weekend. I've had to just be sitting about in my bed and all that. But so I'm glad I've not lost any work. But at the same time, like, I'd actually like to have been able to do things on the nights I actually had off for a change. And instead I've not been able to.
But would you rather have that cold when you are gigging and stuff? Would you? Because you don't like
Gigging with a cold is shit.
Yeah, it's awful. But I quite enjoy cancelling a wee gig if I get the opportunity.
I've cancelled.
If it's a shite gig,
Cancelling gigs is self care.
yeah, it is. Unless it's like a good one that you want, like a solo show, you want to actually do it. But like if it's a wee shite one that you,
I was close to doing it on the Wednesday. I had 2 on the Wednesday, and I was close to. But I didn't want to, and then I was glad I done them
Don't want
because
to let
actually
people down.
the Wednesday went really well. But the only thing I wanted to cancel because I hadn't had time to do any prep because I was so busy and I wasn't feeling well. But then I went and done it and it went well, and I was like, I'm glad I done that now. But no, I know. I suppose you'd always probably know what to lose out in the work. It was like when with COVID and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like we both got COVID like over Christmas,
Day.
New Year when we weren't working anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just annoying. But I don't know. I think there must be something to that thing about the body knowing.
There must be loads of doctors listening to this. Doctors must love this shit.
If you're a doctor, write in and let us know.
Comment below.
We could literally just look it up, but
I'm
That's
not prepared to do
that's
that.
not what this podcast's about. We don't look things up. We have half baked
Speculate.
opinions on things. You know.
that's
I
it.
wouldn't even say half in my case.
Yeah.
There's nothing I believe even half, I don't think.
It's not even preheated the oven. Never mind getting anywhere near
Straight
baking
in,
it
raw
for half
dogging in the oven.
time. Well, considering
Sorry.
It's okay.
Knocked your wee arm.
That's alright.
That
considering we're
was for
talking
the
about
comment about having a thick as pig shit body.
I suppose considering we're talking about our half-baked opinions, some of the listeners have been
Some
getting in
half-baked
touch.
questions.
with some half-baked questions.
Half baked opinions. This is quite a fun, easy breezy light one. First one was
It's an easy
about
breezy light one.
meal deals. We've all had a meal deal here.
We've all heard that phrase.
This is of the podcast world. This is like
Some might say we're in the meal deal era.
Yeah.
I feel like we are a meal deal podcast. Though it's like quite
Fucking reeks a meal deal, this podcast.
yeah, big time.
Mainly because
These guys aren't
just
getting
ate a
free hot
podcast.
In saying that, they'll be just stopped by Greg's, as you can see in Stu's wee cup there.
Always repping.
Get
in touch.
My meal deal was a sandwich and a pie. That's what I got as a wee chaser, wee pie chaser.
Well, I wanted a sausage
nice.
roll chaser, but I
cold.
got downsold because there was only 2 left, and the last was like, bro, they're fucking cold, man.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
So you should,
prefer it. I actually prefer a cold
lukewarm.
sausage roll
That's a hot take.
to
That's the irony.
a really hot one.
I would prefer a
Often that.
lukewarm.
Lukewarm is always your best, but I would take a cold one over the ones just at the oven. They're too hot.
They're too
You
hot.
ask me.
Don't
I
want it
can.
too hot.
Well, I was gonna say I can wait, but I can't. I'm burning my mouth on that every single time.
Really?
If it's
Yeah.
right out the oven. I'd say about 70 to 80% heat. That's what I'm looking for in a sausage roll.
This is it. This is the Goldilocks here. It's like
Yeah.
too hot, too cold, just right.
Yeah, you do look like a mouth burner, to be honest. Straight
I'm
in.
never done burning that thing. I've got no patience.
Someone's got a good bit about like something being too hot straight out of the microwave, so the first place to put it is right in their mouth. And
Yeah,
it's- as if that's
you try and
better.
keep it in the middle of your mouth, so it's not like trying to get some air about it.
Yeah. So someone's asked, would your meal deals as a listener. Shout out, thanks for the question. It was so if you're getting
Did you always
like
get the big questions,
Yeah,
by
this
the way?
if you're getting like a chicken sandwich,
This
with
is from a Mr. J. Paxman who sent this one in.
if you're getting like a, for instance, a chicken sandwich, would that affect your crisp choice? Like, would you get?
Are you sure this isn't if you won 101 philosophical questions?
I'm killing the baby, whatever it is.
Right.
But yeah, you get a beef crisp. Doesn't go with a chicken sandwich, for instance.
For me, I'd go double chicken. I don't care.
Chicken and chicken, would you?
I think that would be the more sensible choice rather than mixing your beefs.
There's the title episode.
Mixing your meats or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, have you ever been to a carvery? I would still get a beef and a chicken.
See, if I'm like at a tapas or something like that, I wanna have a good range of meats.
Yeah, I'm
And
having.
For me, crisps don't taste like what they should, so
No.
I don't care. To me, a beef crisp and a beef sandwich or something, they're not
It doesn't impact.
in
it.
conversation with one another.
let me
Nah.
ask you this, right? See, in the off chance, right? I'm not saying that you would necessarily do this, but like for example, when I used to go to Subway, right, when the first Subway opened in Clydebank, we used to go in a lunch break sometimes, and then it was like, would you want a cookie or a crisp? And I'd always
Cookie
be
all the
like,
time.
cookie, and then I would take
And
the crisp. But like, I thought, and I
You'd
always had,
steal?
the plan would always be in my head if they ever asked me, I'd be like, I thought you said cookie and
So why are you doing this? Is it cheaper or
I
something?
thought you said cookie and crisp.
So you're just stealing a packet of crisps, basically.
Well, that's right.
You're just
I
outing
thought they
yourself.
said cookie and crisp.
That's the
right?
story he sticks to.
I don't know. I just always wanted the quavers, but I thought because they
And
never
pure-
got. 'Cause it was listen.
If I'm working at Subway, I'm not giving a shit if you're stealing.
No,
Yeah,
they're
I'm
not.
I'm not.
And because you would go over to eat or drink, there's no way they're busy with somebody else's fucking meatball marinara. They're not paying
Yeah.
attention to you.
Have you
They,
ever?
they showed a weakness and you pounced. You should know about that.
Although, do you know the only time I ever got pulled up for it? I tried it. I was on holiday in Malia and I went into the Subway there and I went to do it and the guy's like, "Oh! It's cookie or crisp? Oh, sorry if I said and."
And that's when you should have
That's
the
the
best
language
excuse.
barrier.
Yeah, the language
I
should
know.
be your get out of jail
Yeah.
free.
I'm pretty sure the guy was like Faye Scotland.
Aye.
Wasn't it?
Have you ever come across that, like when you worked in Asda's, they'd like try to steal anything, and you've
Do you know, when I worked there, and I won't name names, but people would sometimes eat the stock back, like, you know, in the back, and I would never do it because I always thought, like,
you'd never it's Mr. Crisps and Cookie over here. You'd
No.
never, that's where you draw the
Only
line. Is
steals from other
I,
organisations.
well, I tell you
Not
why,
getting high off his own
because
supply.
so I used to work in the provisions department, all the like the stuff in the fridges and that. So like we had all the like fucking yogurts and stuff, and there was a wee Nesquik things. There's a wee sort of Nesquik bar
like a
things.
wee moose.
And people would always eat them, and I would always.
They're nice.
I never ever done it once because I just thought.
You fucking love Nesquik.
They are good. They are good.
Again, get in touch, Nestle. But okay, no, they're apparently they're quite
I'll take that
controversial. Right, fair enough. Anyway,
Yeah, I'll take it. Blood money.
I just thought if my manager walked in and caught me eating some of the stock, obviously he'd get sacked, and then that would be like the most embarrassing thing to get sacked over ever is like stealing.
Nesquik.
That's
Fucking Miller
they'd be-
Corner.
they'd be like a bloody
May as well dip for the till at least.
Aye,
Yeah.
but like a scarlet letter on you, and I just thought it's not worth it for. I was never that hungry. I could just go up to the vending machine and buy some anyway.
It's like the thing is that, you know, if a mother steals a loaf of bread to feed her family, is that, you know, immoral? But you've just stole one Nesquik to feed yourself.
It was funny because it was always a mad, like, there's a mad older woman that worked with us, and she would always be doing it. And I'm like, fair enough.
There's probably been times when I've accidentally put through an extra lucky dip, and I thought, well, it's already printed. I may as well take it. Do you know what I
Really?
mean? Then that
We
would have
were,
been stealing £1 million if that won. That was.
We were talking about, me and Steve went for a cheeky Nando's on Saturday.
Aye.
And I used to always steal drinks in Nando's.
Oh yeah,
That was my
You've got to do
thing.
that. But now
Oh,
they've
you
changed
get
the
you
glass.
order a water?
Yeah, because it
Order
used to be
a
the same glass. They're
See-
fucking asking for it, but now they give you a wee shitey glass because of people like me that've ruined it for everyone else.
Yeah.
That's why socialism won't work, because cunts like me on the rob.
Well, I would say that that's very much one and the same. The cookie and crisp and the ordering a water and getting a you're exploiting a flaw in the system. It's a loophole.
To me, right, that's if it's unlimited drinks anyway, and you're sitting there with a Coke, then what's to say you can't have 2 drinks and just give one to me? Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
this is true, exactly.
It's unlimited drinks anyway.
But it's like
If
if
you're
you go
not
to
stealing for them,
but it's like
you
that,
could have 10 Cokes if you want.
it's like that argument though, if you go into an all-you-can-eat buffet, you can't just one person buys it and
Yeah,
just
it's a wanker's trick at least.
But they've set themselves up for a fall there. I reckon you should be able to go in, take as much as you want, get out to homeless
obviously
people.
Nando's think differently if they've changed the
Yeah.
glass.
I used to often try and get free trains when, like, back in the day, mostly when I was living in Dundee and I had a girlfriend in Edinburgh and I used to have to go and visit her, and it was like 20 quid every time on the train. Was a fucking rip.
Yeah.
And but I would always get like the last train anyway, and often the barriers were up,
Yeah.
so I'd always just chance it. And I just remember getting caught out one day when the barriers were up in Edinburgh, so I had to buy a ticket at the wee shitty booth, you know. And the woman was like,
one stop before.
yeah, exactly. She was like, "Where'd you come from?" I was like, "Haymarket," and she's like, "Well, you obviously
barriers
didn't, because
there.
there's fucking barriers there, so you're lying."
Yeah, I've done
And I was
that.
like, "Well, whatever the fucking." I was like, "The guy over then." I was like, let's just keep going back until we. If we both know I'm lying, let's just keep going back till we hit one that doesn't have barriers.
That's funny.
Embarrassing.
I used to have a few things with the trains though. Like, so I did record a video of me doing this one time, because I used because it used to there never used to be barriers at, well, certainly Partick, but even Charing Cross and stuff.
Highland and that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
and
I think that's the closest one you can get to Glasgow. Isn't it?
But I got on and it was like basically what you would do is, because I always thought it was interesting how, see, once the ticket inspector's checked your ticket, then when he walks back, you don't even like flinch when he comes back because you're like, he's already seen my thing. So I thought, if you can just like have the body language like someone whose ticket's already been checked, like it's
I've
going
done
to
that.
take a lot of social sort of pressure on him or her to. Scotty at the time didn't have a very progressive booking
Diverse.
policy, yeah, much like this podcast. But so what I would do is I would just sit, and so like I would just sort of pretend like I'd see him come in my peripheral vision. I would just sit and just
It's like the
even if he would
shittest
come
use
up,
of Jedi
or
mind tricks ever. Save 2.45 on a train ticket.
I would sit and I would just stare there. I would look at my phone, and I just wouldn't like flinch or move or like acknowledge it was. I just acted like he'd already seen. And sometimes they would kind of come up and kind of go, and then they would just go away. I think mainly because I just thought I can't be arsed with it.
Did they ever
'Cause
say anything to you? No.
I think
Put your
once
headphones on.
the kind of guy went or something like that, and then but sometimes it wouldn't work, and then I just go, "Oh, sorry mate," and then buy a ticket. But a lot of times it would, and I think because you're suddenly putting more, because if you're kind of going into your pocket when you see them coming,
Yeah.
you go, obviously this guy needs a ticket or whatever, or I haven't checked it. But if you act like you have checked it, then all of a sudden they go, "Oh fuck, have I checked their ticket?"
Yeah.
And then they just move on.
I used to scab tickets so much as well that now and I always buy a ticket now, but
Yeah,
I'm always pissed off when they don't check my ticket now.
Yeah.
I know. Well, that was it for
Right.
a long time during COVID. Like there wasn't even any inspectors on the train. I don't
That's
think.
right. Yeah, that's right.
But I had an interesting experience once though when I was doing work experience at the Evening Times, which I think I'd mentioned on a previous episode. But so I'd be wearing a fucking suit every day into town, right? And then one day, I'd finished work and I was getting the train back, and I had my wallet, but I didn't have any money. I'd ran out of money. I didn't have an overdraft at the time or whatever. Right? I basically couldn't buy anything. I had no money to buy anything. So
What are you carrying about in your wallet?
Just Johnny.
well, I must have had my card, but I think whatever reason I just didn't have any money in my card, so whatever. So I had to walk to Charing Cross, which at the time never had barriers, get on there, and then what was weird when the inspector came, I just thought I'm going to just need to say to the guy, I've lost my wallet and stuff. So what was weird was he comes up and I was like, "Listen, I've just came for work. I've left my wallet in the office. I'm really sorry, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like reading a book. I'm wearing glasses and I've got a suit on. And he's like, "Oh,
the
no bother."
accoutrement.
He's like, "I need bother, mate," and like left it. But then on the same carriage, there was two like mad junkie guys, and they get chucked off at the next stop for not being able to buy a
The
ticket.
British class system.
It
right
is. It is. It's
Yeah,
quite.
it's fun.
It's
It was
like a wee
eye-opening.
experiment. A wee thought experiment.
I know. No, it was really interesting. I just thought, so really what you should do if you really want to bump a train is just make yourself look smart as fuck. Like, I'm not the kind of guy that's going about, I'm not
I
bumping
could buy
trains.
this station.
Exactly. And then you just never need to pay for it.
If it's the same ticket over, if you're doing the
I
same
could
one,
buy these quavers.
If it's the same ticket coming every time and you're sitting there like, this cunt's done this 6 times in a row now, this guy in a suit. It's very forgetful, this
I
guy.
know. But it's like, I suppose that's how all these like hucksters and scamster guys get away with it, all these kind of
Yeah.
spivs into it. It's like,
Yeah.
because they just look like, oh, I've got the money. I just, can you just like sort that out and that loan and blah, blah, blah. And then it turns out they end up fucking nicking millions off banks and stuff.
Aye, you need to have the confidence for it.
That or a high vis, those are your options.
That's
High
it.
vis and a lanyard, that'll get you basically everywhere on earth.
But what I was going to say about that though was like, do you mix up your, let's see if you had a chocolate and crisps.
Get back to the
with
man.
Get
meal
back
deal?
to the
Get back to the meal
important
deal.
questions here,
Aye.
because that was quite a...
Tangent.
No, but that would have been going into more of an interesting thing of like the social experiment there between wearing a suit and all that. And now we're like, right, we need to get back to the cookies and crisps.
Well, I don't think really there's much else to it other than it does just show you about class and stuff like that, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And
not
it's-
yeah. I guess it's wrapped up in class, but also just how we judge on appearances and
Aye.
just everyone just thinks shallowly like that.
Yeah, because if you
For
see
sure.
like a couple of junkies, or whatever, you just go right. They're just obviously going about and whatever. Like
They're at it.
yeah, but
It's like a video you would see on TikTok where it's like the wee homeless guys end up being the rich people are filming it or whatever, and it's like I got ya moment type of thing
Yeah.
for the ticket inspector. It feels like that kind of thing.
I
But
know.
this obviously wasn't that.
So what was your question, Matt? Am
Chocolate
I
man.
getting
or-
chocolate?
would you have a chocolate bar of crisps first? Sweet or savoury?
I would
Or
never
a-
go
or
chocolate
fruit.
with a meal deal.
Or fruit. That's an option as
I
well.
rarely get fruit. I sometimes get fridge raiders.
Yeah, which to me is crazy. That's a meal in itself.
It's tiny. You get 4 wee fucking
No,
cubes of.
what I'm asking no is if
Not
you
even
had a
nice.
chocolate bar and crisps, would you eat first?
Oh, the crisps.
Oh, you gotta go savoury first.
Savoury
and then
first?
get chocolate bar
You're
for
a
your
chocolate
pudding.
first guy, aren't you?
Well,
That's insane.
no,
That
I,
is crazy to me.
I understand the logic behind what he's
Oh,
saying.
I don't understand the logic behind what you.
Yeah.
Well, here's the
Yeah.
thing. I don't really eat a lot of crisps these days. And if I was having crisps, I probably wouldn't have chocolate. But if I was having both, I feel like the thing is about the...
What did you eat first, the cookie or the crisp? What came first?
it must have been the cookie.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
You're off
horrible.
your nut, man. What are you
That's
playing
crazy.
No, because then you enjoy the cookie, right? And then don't want all this quaver dust over my teeth and stuff still when I then dig into a delicious cookie.
at? I'm the opposite. I can always follow savoury with sweet. I'm a traditional guy.
Aye, that's the way it goes. It's starter main pudding.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
the
with-
way I
I'm with
live
my
my
little
life.
friend Steve on this one, I have to say.
We don't often
So,
agree.
but hang on, but the starter in your case is the actual meal, and then the main is the
Well, I mean, I don't mean
crisps, and then the
in a
pudding's
meal
the-
deal you're not getting a starter, although you could have your
Little
fridge
bib on.
It's sitting in Greg's.
Tablecloth, candle.
That one table they've got.
You could have your drink as a starter, I suppose, but there's not enough items to have that.
In an ideal world, I'm putting the crisps in the sandwich, to be honest. I'm keeping half the bag as a side,
Right.
and I'm putting half for some texture.
Some people, when they have a starter, you can get like melon as a starter. Do you ever
What,
have
at
that?
Tesco?
No, not when I sit down meal.
No.
That's
My mum
crazy.
was fond of buying melons, though, growing up. There'd always be a melon kicking about.
Nah,
Force some melon dinners because she was worried we weren't getting any fruit and veg.
melon's the worst fruit.
I'm quite into melon.
Nah, wouldn't thank you for a melon.
No, they thank you for a meal either.
Watermelon?
Nah,
Nah.
shy. Any type of melon, no
Nah,
thanks.
I'm here to defend melon.
Like, see, even
Comment below if you're into melon.
like Maduri gives me the fear. That's melon flavour into
Is it?
Liqueur, yeah, it's a melon liqueur.
I've never
isn't
had
it?
Maduri.
I basically know that from Still Game.
Yeah, same.
Who's hitting out with me?
So you've got a similar relationship to Maduri as that guy in
If
Still
he eats a
Game.
whole watermelon, he goes fucking ape shit. Big innocent wee Stevie.
Which has been I've that Queen of the New Year thing. I've done a sketch with Big Innes,
yeah.
so that has a crossover that has been.
Mm.
You've actually
Didn't
you've
realise.
done a sketch with the guy who played Big Innes.
Yep.
Aye.
Yeah. Clive Russell.
I take it. He's obviously not like his character in real life, or he'd be presumably dead by
No,
now.
but it is fucking huge, man. See,
Is it?
like, there's a screenshot of us, and my wee dainty legs are here. His big fucking knees are up to here, man. It's like, he's huge guy. I'm just a small guy as well, but, yeah, I go for chocolate.
So savoury then sweet. No, because I don't eat a lot of crisps these days, but chocolate's my
But
my
back,
Poison.
downfall.
back to what the guy was saying, like,
Partridge in his car. Dundee.
Toblerones.
like the question was, if you had like a chicken sandwich, would that put you off getting beef or whatever? My go-to crisps is just beef. Like see if it's
Just beef.
if it's the McCoy's, flame grilled steak, I'm getting them every day of the week.
Aye, is
No
that
matter
that would
what.
be your ideal
Aye,
choice?
it's
My
ideal crisp.
A1 is McCoy's Thai sweet chicken.
It's
The
not bad.
bluey teal coloured one.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Sure.
that's like crack to me. I fucking love that shit.
Yeah, I like that. I'm a beef man.
Went through a phase of like the stand used to always have those. I don't know if it's Tyrrells or something or one of the ones, but it was the
To Jaggy, those ones.
sweet chili. The sweet chili ones were good.
Monkey Barrel, they've got the kettle chips. Sweet chip. I'm not into them, but I'm
No?
always eating them because they've got those 3 packets.
Nuggets.
Salted
there-
cheese and Thai. Yeah, and I'm not into them, but I'm fucking never done
If it's
eating them.
there, you're eating them.
Well, you rip your gums to shreds, those things, man.
Well, Stuart's not bothered.
Aye,
about it. He's
you
already-
don't care
His
about
move's already burnt.
Feel none.
I don't think I would have too many things that would cause that sort of conundrum. But it's because I'm
Because
having
you're
a
not
sweet
having a
over
chocolate piece.
No, exactly. Aye.
Well, we were talking about that before.
That blew my mind actually, and this is going to change how Steve's coming across in this podcast. I think.
Interesting.
Well,
Having some hot chat at the counter in Greg's.
so yeah, we were talking this through. He asked if I've ever had a rolling pie. Standard, of course I have.
Yeah.
Then I asked him, have you ever had a rolling Kit Kat?
Which I think rolling pie is like standard. Rolling
Well-
Kit Kats come out of left field.
How is that
Something
crazy?
rotten.
I would say first of all about the rolling pie. I'd remember I remember where I was the first time I ever seen a rolling pie.
Football match, surely.
Aye. No, it was in a local. It was the local sort of
Food
cafe.
fellas.
It used to Food Fellas. It was called. Aye.
Foodies.
And they're always a bit gangster. It's Godfather,
Aye.
Food Fellas. I don't know why it's always going to be gangster stuff.
Food fellas.
Aye, Food Fellas is one in
Fellas.
town. I think.
They've
isn't
got
it?
greedy with the word play and they fucked it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Me too.
you need to just do the one. By Food Fellas, and guy ordered a pie and a rolled pie, and I just had never seen it before, and I just went, that is so much, like,
Carbs.
there's so much bread to get to the hang.
Because I think it's just an easy way to kind of carry it. All the grease will go into the bread, so it's like
It
it's
is
not getting
lovely,
all
a
over you.
rolled pie, don't get me
It's
wrong.
good.
But
It
it's
is
just,
good.
it blew my mind, and it wasn't something I was aware of until later days. A rolling Kit Kat, however,
That is nuts. That's absolutely
Let me
crazy.
break it down
4
for
fingers,
you.
I'm assuming.
Of course.
Like a square sausage.
Of course, yeah.
it's
we're
kind of
not
like
going-
when you get a
can
rolling
have
potato
two.
scone, you need two. You can't just have like
Aye.
one solitary, like 2
Is it
fingers
buttered
of
this
a.
roll?
Well, let me break it down for
That
you
already
guys
sounds
into
horrible.
simple
Disgusting.
terms.
It's fucking
Sorry.
disgusting.
Let me break it down for you. Have you ever had
you
a
ignoramuses.
piece in Nutella?
I wasn't a chocolate spread
Sure,
guy.
yeah, I've done.
It's just the same as that, but crunchy. I rest my case.
But then,
There you go.
surely if you're doing a rolling Kit Kat, you could effectively have a rolling end.
I'd have a
rolling
roll with
lime
something
bar.
and then I'd
You
have
can?
a Kit Kat.
Aye,
I know you can, but
it's not
Doesn't mean
legal.
you should. A rolling boost.
I would never go for a boost.
Why? What's the difference?
No, in general, I wouldn't
Oh,
pick
right,
that
just in
as,
general.
as
so
a
I'm
sweet.
just having a rolling minstrels here.
Now, that's crazy. That's where I draw the line. Because that's falling out every which way. You're making a mess of yourself there. You've got
It's like
minstrels.
Fight in
the sweet, it's the sweet equivalent of a rolling egg. It's like
Yeah,
just gonna,
and I was going to bring that up, but I could never go for a rolling egg by itself.
No.
That's disgusting.
No, I wouldn't do that either.
So minstrels is the same as eggs. but a rolling Kit Kat, it's nice, it's
I
flat,
get how it's practical.
It's
That
practical.
appeals to me.
it's like the square
It's
sausage.
going nowhere, that thing.
That's the square sausage of the chocolate world. If you want a couple of...
I'm going to have to press you on that. Is it buttered though?
No, it's not
No,
buttered.
okay, good.
It's not buttered. But if you want
and you
like
obviously
a...
famously don't like tomato sauce anyway, so that's no. I can say.
Well,
It's
exactly.
like
no-
the last in the roll shop to be asking. Right, rolling
Tomato
Kit Kat,
sauce
you
on
want
it.
tomato sauce?
You're going
Red or
brown
brown,
sauce.
son?
You're going brown sauce with a Kit Kat.
Salt
aren't
and
you?
sauce?
Do you ever have sauce on the rolling crisps? Would you put?
I've done it, yeah, I would have.
Have you?
I've had a roll
up.
with like butter
I feel
and tomato
like
sauce
if you
and crisps.
can't put
Oh.
sauce on a thing, you shouldn't put it in a roll. I think that should be the rule.
Hold on, let me get my head around this.
What?
If you can't put sauce on a
On
thing,
something.
it shouldn't be going in a roll.
Right. So would you put crisps in that bracket?
Yeah.
You don't into crisps anyway.
Hold
No.
on. Can you? What do you dip crisps into dips?
This is a separate
Right.
conversation.
This is why I think crisps, like, you can put them in a roll. And you
So
can't.
is that the
'cause-
exception that proves
Can't.
it?
With a T.
No, because they're not an exception, because technically you can put dips on them. So I suppose.
Aye, if it's a Dorito, something with structure, so something with
Are we rolling
substance.
Doritos and salsa?
Basically, I think you shouldn't be putting chocolate in rolls, right? That's basically it.
Well, Nutella. It's a
Apart from
rest of
Nutella, which is a spread, that's like going, well, you
You
know,
get
rolling Biscoff.
rolling.
get
I'm going to have
crunchy
some.
Nutella.
I'm going to have some rolling peanuts here because
You get peanut butter, don't you?
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But you never have
What
a
do you
rolling
think somebody would
peanuts.
say if you went to a roll shop and asked for a rolling Revels? What would you say?
That's crazy
That'd
talk.
be a crazy mouthful.
But no
One's a
coffee.
wee
One,
coffee,
actually.
aye.
Take it the
Take
coffee.
Put them on the
coffees.
side. Have them
Alright.
after.
That'd be
As pudding.
a great rider. So we have the live show. It'd be like, can we have some rolls and
Free
revels?
rolls and Revels
No
backstage.
coffee ones, please. Remove.
Nah.
It's like the blue M&M thing. Or
I
whatever.
tell you what, next whenever we do a live show, I'm getting you some Hawaiian blowjobs and a couple of rolls and Kit Kats, and I'm going to make you try it. And
Can I just use this opportunity, by the way, to say that I'm so annoyed, right, in that episode where we were talking about Hawaiian blowjobs and being able to suck your own dick. I can't believe we never
Absolute
got
open
to.
goal, that.
Yeah,
made the connection.
Listeners will be at home listening, doing that joke for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
we should. The name for
We should issue an
sucking
apology.
yourself off should be a Hawaiian blowjob. It just should be. And I know I've said
Henceforth,
that. Henceforth, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
a wee
Um,
rolling Hawaiian blowjob.
You could dip it into the Hawaiian blowjob. but you
Absolutely.
can't have
Also,
it.
there might be some news on live show coming pretty soon.
Yeah, if this chat's been riveting for you, look out
Yeah,
for that.
imagine getting to see this live. What a thrill. What a buzz.
I'd asked you about if someone had ever stolen something from Asda and you've like confronted them.
Oh,
on-
I've
on
got a
that.
story about that actually.
But because you worked in Argos, I take it you can't do that in Argos, can you?
No, just the catalogues. They're free. Wee pens. I was always chasing them out. Whoa! There are pens.
Are they not on like a wee metal
Like at
fucking
the bag?
string as well? No.
Nah, I think it was just like a
Just
bookie's
wee pen.
pen.
I know, because in my head I had that
Dying
thought
game, that.
for Argos, but it must just be in the
The bank,
bank.
I think it was pencils by the time I was there. Cutting down
Oh,
on
was it?
plastic.
Was it?
Yeah.
No.
Proper shite job that. Although I miss Argos. I mean, they kind of still get them, but they're getting frozen out now. Argos. They're on the way out.
Seems
man.
like you've worked in places that you can't really, the public can't steal from, like the potato shed. They can't be
It's all
jumping
there.
over.
It's all behind. Yeah.
behind the
No
counter.
theft.
You worked in jeans scene as well, did you not?
What's in the jeans scene? Yeah.
And they steal
Probably
any
wondering where I got
denims.
these jeans from.
I used to always feel so bad for you, Stu, when I'd be going up and down to London a lot when you worked in the
Yeah.
potato shed, and I'd always go to Glasgow Central and stood with us looking miserable, serving no one a potato.
Just eating potatoes and not selling them. That was a real phase of like when I was just starting out in comedy, and like pals like you guys who were like 2 or 3 years ahead of me basically,
Aye.
and yeah, serving. Well, not even serving, but like yeah. Like I remember I was speaking to C&B at the kiosk one day. I was like, I'd been on since like 5 in the morning, and he's up early at like 7 because he's going down to sign with a powerful agent in London. And I've sold like one fucking baked potato. That's my life. At that
I
point.
remember sometimes like we'd be chatting and then like somebody would come up kind of like perusing, and then like I'd need to stop talking to you, and then basically they would just kind of go, it's just potatoes, and then just walk
It
away.
was only open for like 5 months, but it was basically Stu's clubhouse. It was just like people would come in during the day and just sit and gab with me and I'd sell no potatoes. But
I know they've
yeah.
still got the wee
The
actual.
kiosk is still there, but now it's a ticket information booth, which is how people were treating it anyway. Like people would come up to me like, "When's the 12:48 from Airdrie gonna get here?" I'm like, "I'm wearing a fucking apron with a potato on it. Like, what do you think I know about the trains? What inside knowledge do you think I've got? I'm the only cunt now that can't see the fucking board because it's above."
There's a guy in Asda where I used to work. I've said that already, so might as well just say it. But he was a manager, and he was the manager of the home and leisure department.
He's stealing tellies and shit.
Allegedly, what he was doing was getting one of his colleagues to like reduce like the price on the tellies with the wee reducer gun,
Love that.
and then he was buying them himself.
Fucking hell.
And he got
Selling them
caught
on.
and-
That's bold.
No, well, I don't know what he was doing with them, but he got caught and sacked.
Did
but
you stop him? Did you grass him in?
no, I only heard about this in retrospect, but certainly Aye, well, I mean, it's, to be honest,
Fair play.
I like it.
Fair play.
the probably ironic thing as well is he's probably using it. He was not only doing that, but he was probably also using his discount card to get even more off it. And you're like, you just need to be,
That's good. Was he punting the
Taking
tellies or
liberties.
did they just have a house full of tellies?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if it was, I don't know how many.
Wallpaper
If it was
and
2 or
tellies.
3, maybe he just thought I'm going to have all these tellies and put them every room in my house, or
Yeah.
maybe he was selling them on. I don't know, but either way, it's no good.
No.
It's theft.
It's theft.
Theft.
And he's
Call it
ended
what
up.
it is.
He's get the sack. Is that worth getting the sack for? I don't think so. It's like me
Is-
with the Nesquicks. That's why I never.
He's
ate
ever
them
got
either.
the sack?
Well,
No.
I got sacked for that cafe after 1.5 days.
for
Did
the
you?
potato
Yeah,
shed.
it was after the potato shed. I moved across. I made the big switch from inside Glasgow Central to a cafe on Gordon Street, outside looking in. Yeah, but I was just shite. I got sacked after 1.5 days for being shite. Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
What did you do? Like fucking
I was just
pouring the
incompetent.
coffee out of the mug and shit.
They were going to train me up and everything, but they're like, this guy's just not got it. He's just not got it. He's
Not got what it
untrainable, this
takes.
kid. He doesn't give a fuck about this place. But it was
Yeah.
quite good actually. It worked out because I forgot I was meant to be playing football at 5, we should have been working. I'd have missed it, but I got sacked just in time to still make football.
So that's good.
Yeah, there you
Happy
Happy
cloud.
ending. Yeah.
I nearly got sacked for Asda because I don't know if I spoke about this on here before about I used to go in at 6 and it was like when the night shift first on and stuff like that. So I would go in and just nobody knew who I was, so I would just sit there and fucking.
Oh, aye.
I did. I think because
Aye,
Paul was saying he would see me
insomnia.
there sometimes,
Yeah.
and I had to go in and say insomnia, but I nearly got sacked,
That's right.
and then I just sort of left before pushed jumped before I was
Yeah.
shoved. or whatever.
Shoved.
But I should have also been sacked for the job in Bunker. Well, no sacked, but I was shite at that, and I basically
That doesn't
also
sound like a good fit. That sounds like me in the cap.
I also left
Yeah.
before I basically got into trouble for the scary boss or had to clean the toilets, thankfully. So I managed to escape both of those scenarios that I was wanting to avoid.
I was almost like this was when I was getting more.
You were
gigs.
famously in the co-op for about fucking 12 years.
Life.
nine
Yeah.
9 year it was, but it was. I was like sort of exactly. That's he's there. That's how I react.
Couldn't you say it better myself?
Aye, you're right. But no, I was like before, like I was doing comedy and that, and it was like I wanted a shift swap for like my Glasgow Comedy Festival
Aye.
show or something, and they're like, we kind of keep swapping shifts for gigs. So I was like, well, I'll just need to quit, and they're like, okay, fair enough. So they kind of like
They wanted you to quit.
they were a bit sick of me, I think, and it was annoying, but because it was like a week before I was leaving, I was like, there for 9 years. I was like, you're gonna get a good present for this, aren't you? I walked into the
You rolling Kit Kat there, way.
walked into the manager's office, and she's thought there's this wee card there and all that, and it was like, oh yes, and she was like, can you sign this for Jeannie next door in the chemist? She's leaving.
Fucking
I'm not
Jeannie
getting
in
shit.
the chemist.
Jeannie, aye, shout out Jeannie, some lassie.
Easy to make some.
But there was a guy.
Stuff up for a genie, I suppose.
3 wishes for retirement gifts.
There was a guy trying to steal stuff. We had a lot of theft in my co-op.
Why?
Either cheese or like air fresheners were a big one you could sell down the pub.
Well, if you need,
Air wicks.
if you're buying one, you need the other usually.
True, that is true. There was this mad guy loading up his bag full of these fucking Airwick things, and my boss caught him, right, and she like stood in front of the door, wasn't letting him out. He was trying to pull the door, and her fucking like kept banging back and forth, no letting him in. And like we were watching back the CCTV footage, and you could just see me like peering round the shelf, looking, pretending I'm facing up the crisps or whatever, like fucking.
The only time you've ever been actually tidying the shelves.
Because I was at the time I was like, oh, I wasn't aware that anything was happening, but then in the CCTV you could see me kind of looking round, so it was
Yeah.
like
Having a wee
shite
flash.
bag move.
No, it's
I'm not gonna fucking stop a mad cunt stealing Airwicks for £6 an hour. Do you know what I mean?
no.
Take him.
I kind of had a similar thing happen as to how I left the call centre, because I basically just took so many holidays for gigs, and I used to every year I would take all my holidays just to do the festival, so I hadn't been on an actual holiday for fucking years because I'd always just do the Fringe, and then that year, whatever year it was I left, I basically just took all my holidays already going to Cardiff and fucking down south and London and all that shit, and then it got to the Fringe, I'm like, I need a month off, I'm going to just need to leave, so I just handed in my notice.
Is that the thing you had that bit about, like, you're the most qualified for the job, so you just got your job back or whatever?
No, I never actually done that.
Did
That
you?
was just a bit. Yeah. I used to say about how like if they don't get, because they were always really bad in the call centre for that, because it was all done through like a mad algorithm. So it was like people sometimes would be getting married and stuff, and they need to request permission to be off to get married and like try and get a shift swap and all that for the fucking honeymoon. Like, you're like, it's insane. Like, as a fucking adult, it's like a terrible way to treat people. But I used to always say that it's like, if you don't get your holidays approved, like you should just like, if you've gave them like 4 months notice for this holiday and you only need to give 2 months notice to quit, just do your notice, quit, and then just reapply for the job when you get back, because like you're the most qualified for the job, and they'll be like, they'll know higher than anyone else.
Yeah,
it's a good point.
Yeah.
I did consider reapplying for that cafe job I got sacked from for 1.5 days. No one more qualified than me.
But I know I done that, and then it was weird because I remember a dead weird coincidence happened on my last shift, because you're always imagining, like, I fucking hated that call centre, right? And I just like, you're always imagining storming out and being like, fuck you guys and all this sort of stuff, right? And what actually ended up happening was, because usually by the time you're just like, you're more relieved to just leave and right, sees later. And the weird thing about like when you're in a job a long time, like you'd have been in the co-op as well, is like, it's mad how you're there so much longer than everybody you remember, or the good times where like you have a group of pals or whatever, and then they all fuck off and you're just left with wee old cafe and like all these people. It's like a series that's went on too long, the main characters have left and replaced with these people that don't really live up to the original cast. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Aye, just a big room full of Gunthers.
Aye, basically, no, that is what it feels like. And I fucking Ross and Rachel aren't even there anymore and all that shit.
Aye, that's what it felt with me. With 9 years, I'd seen so many people going through. It was like in American Pie, it's like Jim's dad's the only original cast member left. It's like just all these wee pricks that don't matter now.
I kept working at places that closed while I was working there, like I was the kiss of death.
Oh, aye?
Gene Scene, shut. Argos, shut. Potato Shed, shut.
That wee cafe still going strong?
Yeah, without me, that's the outlier here. Going from strength to strength, that place.
My last shift in the call centre, on the Saturday, I think I finished on a Monday, and on the Saturday, my mate who sat beside us, Sean, he'd taken a call for somebody, right? And they were putting through the payment details, and it was something like a credit card that began with like a 6, right? Which doesn't happen. I might be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. You can't get a credit card that starts with a 6, and they were saying that's what it did. And so he's arguing on the phone with this guy for ages and ages. And sometimes when you have like a nightmare call at the end of the shift, you need to stay for like however long it takes, really. So you can sometimes be there for 45 minutes, an hour after the shift finishes. Like you and one manager's like the only person left in the building, because some person's no one to stop arguing. So this guy was like adamant that he's whatever number it is that credit cards don't start with, I think it's 6, right? And he was adamant that was his card, and all Sean said to him is, look, I don't think that's right, because I'm putting in the number you're saying, it's not happening, we take payments every day, it never starts with 6 and blah blah blah. So this guy's just like, and that would usually be the worst calls you would have as well, is like with customer service, it's people that literally have nothing to argue about and are just swearing,
nothing better to
swearing that fucking black is white and all the rest of it, the sky is fucking green and all that shit. So, and you wouldn't know what to say to them, so you kind of need to be like,
are you not allowed to hang up?
No, you're not meant to hang up. But what I did was so a couple of days later, right, so I remember seeing, I was like, fuck's sake, Sean, that sounds a nightmare. And then in my last ever call, that guy who spoke to Sean phoned back and I got him on the phone, and he tried to do the exact same thing to me. He was like, I was a wee prick the other day and blah blah blah, and like, I put in a complaint, all this sort of stuff, and he was saying he couldn't insist to take the cut, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it and all that sort of stuff. And I can't remember what, I think I did say one, I can't remember. And then I was like, right on 8 o'clock my shift finished, I was like, anyway, easy a prick or something. Just hung up, and then that's really, and there's no way of ever like
getting back to
me. Might be recorded somewhere for training purposes.
Use that in training purposes.
There was though,
Don't do what this guy did.
What I did actually do though was, there was a way that, see if you didn't actually, see when they give you your details now, see if there's a way you could go into it without the system knowing you'd went in. So there's kind of no way of tracing the coffee. Don't do that. So I just done that basically,
Alright.
and then sort of fucking had left anyway. So, but I thought it was funny. Just like that guy got his comeuppance because like he was being a pure prick to somebody who couldn't say in, and then all of a sudden, just by his bad luck, phones back up when he's got a guy that's literally the last ever call is when he leaves. I was just like, fuck you. But it's literally, I mean, it's like he's fucking making this guy's life a nightmare because
what's his motive?
Yeah.
I don't know, like, but that is, you would just get that sometimes, and then you'd come away like pure raging after arguing with somebody for an hour, but like something that wasn't a thing, and then like you just so quickly forget it because you would just be like, what was that even all about? And usually it's about nothing.
Did you see on those systems? Was it like did you have like a sort of traffic light system? It was like you could have a wee red bit that goes, "Oh, these are problem callers" or whatever. Or was it just cause
no callers? You'd have notes and all that, like you could go into, but it was more the people that flagged up because it was car insurance. It would be more people that were like dodgy and like the underwriters thought were maybe potentially fraud and all that shit.
Because I worked at I took calls in for like at the BBC for like the Kay Adams show or whatever. So I had to vet the calls before they got put over, but it was like a traffic light system, so it's like
Really?
this cunt is off his fucking nut. And it's like, so a wee red dot next to it, and it was like, you just be polite, pretend that you're taking notes, and then hang up and
Tapping away like that.
yeah. So I'm doing this. Oh, is that right? Yeah, and then like there's amber soap for people who are kinda a bit off their nut, but they're not that
They made
much
the
of a
odd
problem.
comment about Jimmy Savile.
Aye, exactly.
Might be good value.
But usually with the red ones, they would kind of tell you to just try and get off the phone as soon as possible. But
Right.
those are always the funniest ones, so I'd just be pure entertaining it. Like, and what do you think about Kate Adams? And all that? Like pure.
Did it ever
pretending.
happen on that show where it's like they've been quite nice to you, and then they've gone on and be like, "All right, Craig, you fucking wank."
Well, 'cause
Always
it-
makes me
comes
laugh
back
when people
to
do
me.
that. Yeah.
I used to always just
So
think that
painful.
would be the smartest way to go about it, because obviously when you've got these people doing the kind of like the checks before you get on air, surely just pretend, like, don't even say what your actual point's going to be or whatever, and then going, yeah, I fucking want to tell you, you fucking cunt, or whatever. Like, that's, you know, because I always used to think about football phone-ins and stuff like that. Like, if somebody gets on and like, I think he's biased and all that stuff, just come on and say that, you know,
He's a fucking wank.
the problem I used to have in the call centre sometimes is that I would actually like react to people as if there was somebody else listening for the comedic value, like, because I just like, all right, and I was making a like, if somebody was pure mental, I would just kind of like play it up a wee bit, but
Yeah, exactly.
then they would like go, you can't talk this way to customers or whatever. I'm like, all right, fair enough.
But it was always for like that Kay Adams show. It was always like the topics were like pure. Oh, how do you feel about this? It's like traffic lights are changing where you only get 20 seconds to cross the road instead of
It must
30
have been difficult if
seconds.
there's a traffic light system and you're talking
Exactly.
traffic lights.
But I know that must be just my head. But that was like one of the examples.
Steve's imagination. It was like when we were writing in Nando's the other day, and he was like, "What about we're writing this sitcom pilot? What about if they have to go on a protest?" I'm looking out the window and there's a fucking protest walking by. How did you come up with that?
An improv skill.
Well, you have to take things.
Mine's not any better.
Well,
What are we going to call this?
I didn't think of the protest thing.
We're going to call this thing Lemon and Herb. It's,
It could
Keith
be a double act.
Lemon
I'm Lemon, you're her.
You get Keith Lemon involved.
and Herb Dean, the UFC referee.
I mean, were they even wanting to know what our actual meal deal was?
I think we've answered that.
Ideal meal deal.
I bet that is a fucking podcast.
Mine's
Yeah.
no problem.
That definitely exists.
If you want to know
It's a
mine,
good
it's chicken and bacon and beef crisps.
Where is this for, this meal deal now?
I'm a
Just
tester,
anywhere.
yeah.
So you always get a chicken and bacon option.
Mine would be the chicken bacon as well, I think. Chicken bacon
Aye,
stuffing.
no.
Stuffing is if it's
Oh,
tasty.
chicken and bacon's
And then I'm quite a sucker for those iced coffee drinks.
I'm
Right.
water or innocent smoothie if I'm feeling frisky.
I'm brew extra all day, baby.
Always.
Sometimes I like a wee bit of mango though. If I'm trying to be healthy.
The thinking man's melon.
So that wraps up the fucking meal deal question.
Succinctly.
There was also, we were kind of talking about there like quitting jobs and stuff like that. Have you ever almost quit comedy stand up?
Not that it comes to mind. Have you guys?
I flirted with it, I think.
Aye.
I've been in the doldrums with it, certainly.
Yeah, I've always sometimes after a run of shite gigs, you go, is this what I want to do?
Is this what I want to do?
Because I remember like one time in the car, I'm sure we done like a mad shite gig and driving back or whatever, and just being pure like doing the fucking Comedy Store gong show. Like you beat the 5, I got gonged off after like 30 seconds. There was like 4 Scottish people on in a row. I was like the 4th.
I've got this exact story, but it took place in Stockton-on-Tees, which is even worse than the fucking Comedy Store.
Yeah, Comedy Store in Manchester.
Yeah.
And I missed the fucking. It was that day. It was Portugal Spain in the World Cup, 3-3, and Ronaldo scored a hat trick, I think. And I'd forgotten. I was like, oh fuck, I don't want to cancel the gig.
Yeah.
4 Scottish lads in the car. I'm the last one on. Donald goes up, smashes it. Liam smashes it. Foldsy smashes it. I get gonged off after like 30 seconds after a 5-hour journey.
Yeah. It's horrible.
Back in the fucking car.
Back in the bus. Yeah, it's horrible. Like those sort of things can be demoralising. Like you do that like 4-hour journey. You do 30 seconds, you get gonged off, and you're back.
It's hard to keep your chin up after something like that. Really.
It is.
Yeah. The irony of that was the first time I've done the gong show in Manchester, and I got a spot. I didn't win, but I got a spot, and then the spot didn't really go anywhere. So actually, then like a couple of years later, I went back doing like every month for like 6 months or something until I won it to get a spot again. But like a few times I came close, but a few times I get gonged off. And one time was I brought my mate Nick down, and he drove us down in that, and then I got gonged off after like a minute, and then we just.
Was he raging?
Well, it was the one time I'd actually brought him there.
Yeah.
And was like and it was just so embarrassing that drive back up the road, and you're just like, oh my god. And you know, I think we all have moments where you question it, don't you? But I think I've always had a bit of a kind of like what I now know is like the growth mindset sort of attitude towards it, of like, you know, if you just work at it, you can get better, and comedy's one of those things. And I suppose I've always just thought, well, if I ever have bad moments, which I have had obviously, like I just think, well, I just need to work harder and get better, and I'll have another day. But I think the toughest ones are when it's something that's like a big deal, like a big gig, like Comedy Store. A few times I've had tough ones and came off feeling like bad, or just competitions or things like that where it doesn't work out, and I think those are the ones. See, any time where it's like a trial spot where you kind of like you feel like your whole self-worth's on the line, or a competition where again it's kind of like, you know, you're pitted against other people, and like you kind of like, it's when you don't win them or whatever, or you don't do well, or you don't get the spot, you sort of think, well, am I worthless? Am I just no good?
Any point of this?
Yeah, it's when you think like, am I one of those mad deluded people that you do see?
Absolutely.
Because they don't know they're fucking crazy either.
No.
Exactly.
So am I one of them?
But that's a constant worry, and I do think that the people who do worry about that are usually the people who earn it, and we all worry about that.
Imposter syndrome.
That's what makes you work, because if you just turn up and you think you're amazing, and you don't really have a good idea of reality, which in a way all of us, you know, have our moments of that to an extent, but like those mad cunts that turn up and are never going to make it, they don't like question themselves for a second.
No.
Yeah.
The problem is they don't really work in
It
their
gives them
acts
psycho
either.
powers.
Yeah.
If they wrote jokes, they'd be unstoppable.
Exactly.
One of the worst I've ever felt, like after a gig or like whatever's like the year after I won the comedy award, right? I got invited back to do 5 minutes on the new comedy award final.
Yeah.
So it's like the judges go
That's
away.
the progression. You get to do the same amount of time.
You get to do the same amount of time next year, but you're not getting judged on it. So the judges go away, talk about who's going to win this year's competition. I go out and fill time. And just before I'd went on stage, the producer was like, oh, you know that joke, you have to send over your transcript, all the jokes that you're saying. She was like, you know that bit that you do about the seagull getting hit by a car? You can't do that on the radio, because she's like pure big into like animal rights and all that, and it's not even a bit about really.
I mean, it's on the radio. You're not seeing much.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's like just a stupid thing about me accidentally knocking over a seagull or whatever. It's not like I'm going, you should kill seagulls, people. Like, you know what I mean? So she was just like, don't do it. So I shite myself.
When you're coming in right after the Archers, that's the sort of decisions that you're making it.
But it was such a bizarre thing to be like, oh, you know that thing you'd prepared for? Don't do it. just kind
Why did
of
they tell you at that point? That's crazy.
exactly, yeah, because it'd been like had the green light before.
This guy won the Comedy Award the year before. He's got plenty of material.
My
that he
name
could-
fucking carries some weight in this town, though.
But it was like one of those ones where, because it's like quite a big one and it's like on the radio, you're kind of preparing for that 5 minutes and then you're told you can't do that. You're like, well, what am I going to do? Like stick in an extra 30-second joke. I don't know where.
Do some crowd
It's
work.
just going to be weird, So it was like such a fucking weird feeling. So I was on stage not knowing how I was going to end my
Oh,
set.
that's a horrible feeling, that.
Yeah, and
It's bad enough when you're fucking around on your material now. Or
exactly
Maybe
when
live
you're-
on
and it's
radio.
live on radio to fucking how I could hear my voice starting to pure go towards the end because I was like, I don't know how this is ending.
Everyone's thinking, like, that kid that won it last year's lost it.
Yeah, he's
know.
fucking
He
shite.
won it with 5 minutes and now he's only got 4.5.
What did you end up doing?
I just cut it halfway through the joke and just went.
I'd do the two stuffs routine.
Have we spoken about that one here before?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably episode 0 knowing me.
Yeah. but yeah, it was weird. I just cut like at the end of it. I just like got to the point where I kind of got a laugh, and I was like, "It's nice to be back after like a year. Cheers, guys. See you later." But it just felt fucking horrible.
I mean, the audience
That whole-
wouldn't know, would they? But it's just
No,
that feeling.
but that
yeah.
feeling, it's just weird.
Just ended on, guys, I done this last year. I know the nerves that these guys will be going
Still
for it. Can
got
we
it.
have another round of applause for these great acts?
The world's a stuffed up place.
I don't think we have said this on here about
Right, well,
when me and Stuart started on the New Comedy Award. It was just the heats, mind you, which we both had good sets at. But I had to, I for some reason decided to do this. But that joke I had that's the two fucks thing. Is the punchline.
I don't give two fucks, but you had to change it to make it suitable for radio. So I went,
So
I
I
don't
said-
give two stuffs.
Two stuffs, and really went for it. It's so embarrassing.
Did it get a laugh?
It actually went well, didn't it? But it's, I mean, that
It's just
must
'cause
have
I knew-
instantly-
It's just funny to know
Aye.
what it should
It
be.
must have
like.
instantly
Yeah.
disqualified me. I should have just not done that joke. I didn't even really need it. But it's,
But
I
even
done
saying-
that to then do a callback to. I had
That
a
was
tag
the,
that was a
the
callback,
problem. You would have just dropped it if it was just in your set, but because it's the end,
and it was a callback because I used to do that standing down bit, which was the tag off of the two
Yeah.
fucks bit. Then
it's a tightly structured piece.
yeah, but the problem is,
Yeah.
it just didn't
But
work.
you weren't allowed to say two Fs
No, that was the other option that I asked, and they said no.
because that would be better than stuff.
If it's
Well,
funny.
so I thought I should have just said fucks and seen what happened. I mean, to be honest, we never even placed anyway. Me and Stuart both had really good gigs that night and never placed. But that was a night actually where I was like, what the fuck? Like, I've had like one of the best gigs of my life, it felt like. and
Yeah.
still didn't go well. I mean, again, I'd have probably disqualified myself now just for saying two stuffs. But, but actually, then I remember watching it back a couple of months later and I was like, it was alright. It was like, I think the big
None of that
party.
shit matters, does it?
No, a big paradigm shift for me was like I remember doing the Scottish Community of the Year final the first time I was at the Barrowlands in 2016, and I don't think I placed, and I was just annoyed at myself. So I thought I'm going to really work on trying to get a set together for the next year to win it, so you can go to Australia, which was a big sort of prize of it. And so I worked on this 10-minute set, and I really honed it down and stuff. And then on the night, I think it was the night. I think both of you came in like second and third or something.
Oh, was that the Barrowlands at Roscoe one?
No, that was the following year when it was at the Rotunda.
Oh
Rotunda.
fuck, that's
And
When we got confused for each other.
that's right.
and you had a great routine about the potato shed actually that year.
You did.
When
But
knife hands you potatoes.
But I basically I'd worked that set out, and I'd worked so hard on working that set out and working exactly, getting it tightly packed, and I knew where all the laughs are and where the applauses should be and blah blah blah. And then it was after that, and I remember reading a review of it, and then I was like, do you know what? I'd been so concentrated on like just getting a tight set that I wasn't really thinking so much about what the content was necessarily. I was like, maybe I could be more interested, maybe talk about different things that I care about more. And that was a good paradigm shift because honestly, because when you start out, you want to smash the gigs, and then you sort of go, but what stuff am I really saying here? And I think that's like a good
Yeah.
shift in your priorities,
I think you're constantly shifting between those two things of like trying to say something interesting and still get laughs.
Absolutely.
And the needle sort of shifts, and sometimes you're like, if I need to be gag, and when you strip it down so much, you're like, what am I actually saying here? Like, none of this even makes sense anymore. It's just become these sounds that I say to get a response.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But then if you go too far the other way, you're like, God, I've not had a laugh in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you're trying to be more
Hard.
interesting, but I like,
That's the
there's not
battle,
much
isn't it?
But yeah, that's the whole balance.
But I don't know how close I've come to quitting. I've definitely thought about it, but I think the good thing is I've got no fallback.
Yeah.
It's not like I've got some amazing job I'm waiting on.
Yeah. I
I'm
think
fucked now,
that's
and
you're
this
kind of
is-
forced into.
It's sunk costs. It's
That
like what we were
is,
talking about the
that
other
is,
day.
it's a sunk cost, yeah. Fallacy.
Yeah. Minute for the fucking long haul now. Stuck. It's like when you see those guys that have been going for like 30 years and they're sick of it,
Yeah.
but there's
They
no
don't
plan
have an
B.
option. But at least you've got like you can be a producer or whatever you're in with
Yeah, I'm
comedy
alright
unit
now,
and
to be
stuff.
fair. Yeah, but
The thing is, though, it's like
Crawling back to the potato shed.
it's not. We would never quit out of getting sick of it as such. As it maybe just feeling like if you were anytime you thought about quitting, it's because you think, oh, maybe I'm just not good enough. But really, you just need to persevere through those times when you're starting out, because obviously, like a lot of things, stand up just takes a long time to get good at, and
Yeah.
it is still difficult even when you've been going a long time and stuff, especially when you're warming up new material. Like I was doing it last week. I had a kind of tough week of gigs last week, and then but by the end of the week, I'd done this a work in progress show, and I'd been working on some of the new stuff, and it became worth it.
Yeah.
So you just need to go through that thing, but like I think the other thing is well, you never want to you don't want to keep doing it because you want to keep doing it. Whereas all these people that are just jaded and whatever, but just doing it for probably the wrong reasons, or because they don't know what else to do. But it's like if you're it's such a privilege to do stand up comedy. It's like
Yeah.
you
so
actually
easy
should.
to forget that.
I know.
I know.
No, it absolutely is. But like, why the fuck like if you've been doing it for 10 years, fucking don't moan
Maybe
about it.
write a
It's
joke.
amazing. Write a joke.
Yeah.
Change things up. Get out your
That's-
comfort zone rather than just going, well, I know this stuff works, and I hate my act, and I hate saying it like so many people fall into the trap of. Just keep it interesting for yourself.
Yeah, those are the moments when I'm mostly feeling like, oh, I can't be arsed with this anymore, is when I've not written anything new in a while, and
Yeah.
I've got nothing to be excited about
Yeah.
saying like on stage. But as soon as you write a new bit that you're excited to do, then the fucking love for it comes back. And the
Yeah,
spark comes
definitely.
And that's it. And how
That's somebody
amazing
who's quit stand up saying that.
back.
Me?
How amazing is it going to be though, Steve? You'll get the spark back as soon as you get back on stage, and you're like, guys, who in here's ever had a rolling Kit Kat?
Fucking weirdo, get
Gummed
off
off.
stage.
Give me a cheer who likes chocolate before the crisps. No.
What else have people asked about? Worst dates? You got any bad date stories? Can't imagine one of yours going badly, General.
Well, none that I've not covered on another podcast
Right,
dated
enough,
entirely
true,
to that
true.
subject.
Well, I've been in a long-term relationship, guys. So I've not been on a date in a while. But my first date with Catherine was to Frankie and Benny's.
Fuck's sake. That you now slug off on stage.
Yep. Because of that reason.
You know how to treat a lady?
Hmm?
Is that because of that reason? So do you slag it off now, but is it because she's pointed out to you how bad it was as a place to take
The
someone
fact
for a
that
first
she
date?
still texts me back and that is, it was probably because of my great personality or whatever. But it's quite. I think that's it's a good test though. See if you take someone to Frankie and Benny's
is that the
And you
only
can
place that...
withstand
and
it.
they can withstand it, then you're going the distance.
Is that the
This is
only
a
place that's
resilient
served-
woman. That's what you want.
Is Frankie and Benny's the only place that they'll serve you a rolling Kit Kat?
I wish.
Imagine
Wish
going
they
on a
would-
first date with someone and that's what they ordered.
A rolling.
It's only not a nick because no one's ever thought to consider that as an option.
But it was. I don't know if this was the first date, but one of the most exciting dining experiences I've ever had is when I found one of those wee buzzers for Frankie and Benny's.
Yeah.
And I skipped the queue. It was like an hour long queue. We were like Saturday night going to Nando's and all that. Couldn't get a seat anywhere. On this wee bench, we found one of those buzzers. Started buzzing, going. Bzzz.
And it wasn't yours, somebody
Calling
Wasn't
it
us?
out.
It was just somebody.
Somebody's got bored waiting and just gone, fuck it.
Yeah, and it was for Frankie Benny's, which it's not ideal, but you're like, well, I'm hungry now, so let's go there. Felt such a rush walking past the queue, and I was scared though in case they knew about it. So I was
In
like,
case you go to the till and it's like for the crazy golf down the road. It's your tea time.
and I was just like, oh, this is buzzing. I don't know what you say. Do you know what I mean? And they're like, all right, okay. And they're like, table for 4, and we're like, nah, there's only 2 of us. 2 left, or I was just making up lies. And they're like, right, okay, that's fine. Best
Oh,
meal I've ever had.
you get a table, but you must have been scared the whole time that they were going to come back and go,
Well, they were just stolen somebody's buzzer.
yeah. But then I suppose, presumably they just gave up and thought, fuck, wait.
I think that's what they did. They just left or went to Harvester because it had fucking no one in it.
Yeah, of course.
Never does.
Mix your meats.
Yeah.
That's probably what impressed her. Yeah. Good coverage.
I feel like for guys, you don't
It's
have...
rare that they're mental.
Yeah, because like, every woman you ever speak to, always get these. Every woman's get these like horrible date stories with guys, whereas like, you know, the worst that it really ever is like, you know,
There's no spark.
there's no
or
chat
whatever.
and no
Yeah.
spark or whatever. Aye.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a bad one, but I went on a date years ago with a German girl, and we ended up we're seeing each other a wee bit. It was going all right, but one of the first dates went to a pub quiz,
Aye.
and that was a long evening. Like, you don't realize how different culturally we are. So I basically just
aye.
stuck explaining all of British history and culture.
Tell
And
her
not
how-
like I'm fucking super knowledgeable, but
No.
just like,
Trying
be
to
like
explain who John Parrott is.
exactly, yeah. John Parrott, you're like, where to begin? Well, you know, pool. You have like the cheeky girls. You're like, what is this? Like, well, settle in.
Yeah, no, that's.
Did you not say like on? Did you not do on stage? You had like a. Did you go on a date to like that fucking Holocaust thing or something like that, or was
No,
that a
when
pal?
I got off with a girl in Krakow and then saw her the next day at Auschwitz, which I used to try and do stand up about before I had the skills to make that like not
Yeah.
awkward.
Yeah.
So it was either take the roof off or die in its arse,
Aye.
because that's high risk.
And what was the sort of thing behind what happened?
Basically, I was on I went interrailing with my pals when we were like 19 or whatever around Europe, and we're in a nightclub in Krakow. I pull a girl, never think about it again, and then I see her the next morning. You know, it's always awkward when you see someone after you've golfed with them or whatever,
Yeah.
but Auschwitz was like too much context. Do you know what I mean? To make
Absolutely.
it feel like it's not a big deal. Do you know what I mean? Like, like I felt quite guilty and ashamed. I don't know. I don't know. It's just weird seeing.
And
It's
not
bad enough
really
when you see somebody in Tesco. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when it's Auschwitz,
and it's not really the place to try and follow up. Then,
I
is it?
know,
Yeah.
trying to get a number. At the fucking,
Come here often.
it's just not the kind of place you expect to bump into somebody
No, aye.
hungover.
Yeah.
No.
And I don't know if I'm making this up, but was there something to do with the Peru too with you?
I also went on. This was years ago, but there was a girl I went. No, it's not the Peruto. Relax.
Right.
But this was years ago now. But basically, we kind of like got with each other at uni and then like never thought about it again. Then I matched with her on Tinder like 4 years later or something.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "What you been up to?" I'm like, "Just doing stand up, not much." Then I'm like, "What you been up to?" And she's like, "Well, I was in jail in Bolivia." And then it was like this crazy story.
Oh my god.
Yeah, interesting
What?
women.
And she was like similar to the Peru too. She was trafficking.
Something
drugs
to
or
do with
something?
that. She was being a wee bit hazy about it. I think it was to do with drugs, yeah. But I think
Yeah.
it was more just like
She was a
personal
mule.
use. But yeah, crazy.
Fucking hell.
Jeez, man.
And like my life's pretty boring, you know. But never feels more boring than when somebody's been in jail in Bolivia.
That's when you know you've been on dating apps and stuff too long. Like people have had like these like like they've literally done a stretch in jail in the time
Aye,
since she's
yeah.
last matched with each other. Like a man will do anything different than just keeping swiping on these things.
So you've been up to been quite a dull 3-year relationship where you've been up to I've been in jail in Bolivia.
Yeah.
All right.
Aye, sometimes
Different lives.
It's mad. Sometimes when you've been single so long, you've just waited out someone's entire relationship.
See them again.
And then see
Yeah.
them
Ponder
again.
replay.